Yo, what's up guys, Ben on Fire here back with a video, and today we're going to be bringing you guys some run defense in Madden 22. Going through some of my videos this year, I realized that I haven't really made a true Madden 22 run defense, and some people do run the ball a lot, especially if you're going against someone who's willing to get under center and pound the rock 20 times a game. It can get very difficult to stop that. Of course, the majority of people like to throw the ball in this game, but there are occasionally people who like to run the ball, most likely the lower level players, but we're going to show you guys some run defense that I like to use to shut down those types of players. These are, again, going to be the heavier type of ground and pound guys going against heavy I-form formations. Now, I'm going to be in the 3-3-5 wide. It is the most meta defense. It is the most used defense, so it's only right that I bring you our first run defense out of this particular formation. Make sure that you do throw a safety at linebacker, this inside linebacker. You will be using him for one of the setups. For the other one, it won't matter, but you'll still want a safety there. Now, the play we're going to run is going to be cover 4, show 2. I feel like it's the best for the run defense. You realistically could run it out of any cover 3 set as well, but you'll see kind of why we run cover 4 when we go into setup number 2. But yeah, cover 4, show 2. We're going to be going against this I-form close flex. Don't see too many people running this, but this is almost like a goal line type formation with a dive and stretch. So if the run defense works against this, it'll work against any dive and stretch. We will be showing again ISO and stretch. I'm going to start out with the halfback dive though, and yeah, let's get straight into it. Also, make sure you guys drop a big thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel down below if you want to see more of these videos. But yeah, starting out, we're going to show the first setup. What I like to do, and for this first setup, we're just going to pinch our entire defense. That's going to be R1 and down on that left analog stick. That's going to pinch your D-line, it's going to pinch your linebackers, and it's going to press your defensive backs. Now, for this first setup, we're going to use the inside backer, show you a setup while we're using him, and also the safety. So we're going to be using Edmonds right here, Terrell Edmonds. Now, the first thing you want to do is blitz all linebackers, get this guy on a blitz. The next thing I like to do is just slant inside, and then we're going to go ahead quarterback contain. So here's a look at your setup. With your user, you can kind of just stand right here. Sometimes I've seen people kind of stand off to the side, which I'll show both, but we'll just start out kind of standing in the middle. Actually, yeah, let's start just showing the base, what it looks like. Now, again, this is not necessarily the best way to do it. We'll wait for him to snap the ball, and there you go. You see, usually you can fight through the fullback, and overall it should be pretty solid defense. So that is the first way to do it. The next way that you can do it, which we'll be showing both, is to actually use the safety here. So I'd probably move this guy over here on the right side. I would just go down and use the safety. And then when the ball is snapped, you can kind of just shoot through here, and you see a ton of guys are going to just rally to the ball. Now, why am I in cover 4 instead of cover 3? Well, if we go to the run fits here, you see that these safeties actually play the run very well. I believe this quarter also plays the run. I'm not sure why it shows him on that, but usually those inside quarters do play the run very well. And sorry, I'm trying to pull up, but that is what it looks like. Also, the slot cornerback plays the run, so you have a lot more guys in that run fit, as well as that 3 receiver hook. So just a lot better. I'll actually show you what cover 3 looks like for the run fits, but it's a lot worse than that. So again, pinch your defense, slant inside, blitz all linebackers, contain, and then again, I can just kind of move this guy. I can move him to the left also if I wanted, and then kind of stand over here, and then when the ball is snapped, we will just kind of run over. You see, we're getting some sheds, which will happen. You will get block sheds in this game. Definitely not easy to run the ball, but you don't see a whole lot of people run halfback dive. I did just want to show you it because sometimes people will run halfback dive. This is also pretty good red zone defense, pretty good against fullback dive, QB sneaks. But again, you can move this guy over here. Again, I can also move him to the right side if I wanted to, but I'm more of a fan of kind of standing over here. You don't want to get too close because if it is a pass, then you could be potentially in a little bit of trouble. But cover 4, you just get all these guys running against the fit. Of course, as long as you can engage with one of those players, you don't even have to make the play with your user because you have all of those extra guys blitzing, then you're in a pretty good position. Again, I'll show you the version of this defense where you use your Terrell Edmonds. Again, not my favorite. I would probably stand over here. And once again, you're not really going to know if it's stretch or dive. And you see we're getting sheds. We have certain abilities, but you can see how they just seem to clog the lane better when you do these particular adjustments. And again, I can stand over here. I can actually get in contain if I want to, which will tie into our next setup because, again, you're not going to know if they're running stretch or dive. So I'll kind of show you what our next setup looks like. But just kind of stand over here. You see we get another block shed. It seems like Tua just gets that shed every time because of his positioning. It's not necessarily him getting a block shed, but just because of the defensive position that he's in, he seems to get free a lot of the time. That's something I've noticed in labbing this. Once again, I can kind of throw this guy in contain, which is something once we'll address next time. But this is kind of what the stretch defense will look like. You can kind of stand here. Again, you see that guy coming off the edge, which you can already get an idea of how well that stops stretch. But yeah, of course, if they were to run stretch to the other side, you would be good because, once again, here's the run fit, slot cornerback in the fit. So even though you maybe are a little bit committed to that side, it shouldn't really be an issue. Again, you can move this guy into contain like over here if you want to. But yeah, I'll show the stretch defense. You'll kind of understand it a little bit better, but we can stand back here, shoot that gap. That time we miss it a little bit, so sometimes you don't want to get premature. You can actually kind of strafe up. And if you don't want to risk it, you can stop them to 3 yards pretty much every time. But yeah, let's go ahead, hop into the stretch defense now. Now, realistically, I don't have to blitz any of these linebackers at all. The reason I would like to blitz probably only Terrell Edmunds here is because I want to get him in contain. But again, if you look at the run fits here, you see TJ Watt and that slot cornerback are already in the run fit, same as our middle linebackers. So they're already playing the run assignment right off the bat. So they're not going to back up at all. They're, right when the ball is snapped, they still will pursue forward, which is all that you need. So I could just leave those quarter flats out and you have a good, perfect match pass defense, especially against the under center. Match defense should certainly do the job against those basic route combinations. So let's show some stretch stuff. For now, we'll just use our Edmunds like we did. Now, if you really want the contain out there, that is when you blitz all linebackers and contain. I do like having those contains, but if I know he's going to either pass the ball or run the ball, I'm going to play it safe and I'm going to leave my coverage out there. So we'll just stand here for a base defense, run around here, and you see you can kind of set the edge there. Now, one thing that you would really make this defense over the top is if we could get Joe Hayden to play the run. Now, Joe Hayden doesn't. He's in the quarter. He's not going to play the run. There's not really a zone that you could put him in besides a blitz to actually get him to play the run. I've tried things like soft squats, and really, they don't do much. So you might as well leave him in his outside quarter, but you can see how he's really the one that ends up making the difference. Let's try standing over here, though, for stretch, because that is what we did for dive. I've seen situations where you can kind of shoot that gap. You can definitely do it against a single back formation, but against I form, that fullback's usually going to pick you up. So that is something that's not too big or not too good, but you got to understand this year, you won't see too many people cut up the field. It takes a long time to start cutting. They want to probably get to the edge. That is the best way to run stretch this year. It's to get to that edge. So if you can kind of seal the edge, force them inside, you have safeties that will rally to the ball, especially if you're running this first version of the defense where you're using the inside backer. Your job is primarily going to be to set the edge, force them inside, and then you got safeties that can rally to the football, like our strong safety there. Again, you see pretty good defense there. We outrun the fullback. If he cuts it in, we have safeties there once again to make the play. So that is probably the best recommendation I could give you with your user. You're not necessarily able to shoot the gap perfectly, but you're giving yourself the best chance to stop the run overall without taking too many chances yourself. So that is probably what I would recommend. All right, now we're going to go ahead and show the version that I was talking about with the dive a little bit, where you move that inside backer into containment. So what this looks like, again, you set up the blitz or defense. I keep saying blitz. It's kind of the same way. Just move this guy into contain. Now, what do I want to do? I can leave him like out here. This kind of takes him out of the play for the run or the inside run. So you want to move him as far inside you can to where he's still on containment. It should be around here. You can move him inside TJ Watt a little bit. So that's kind of what it looks like. Now, for this one, you kind of still want to take the outside with your user. You'll see what I mean, but the blocks just seem to kind of open this guy up outside. And you see there, that was a terrible user. Some guy just picked up 2 blocks on us, so that's just great. You gotta love that. But that was a terrible user. You can see why the user error was. I wasn't expecting one guy just to get disengaged, which was unfortunate. But again, move this guy into contain, come down with your user, and the way you want a user is gonna be not terribly like I did there. You kind of want to take the edge. If you force them inside, again, you have guys, but overall, you don't see there's a big difference in this one. Mainly, I would recommend using the safety if you're using the dive defense, but you see with the stretch, it doesn't make a big difference. One thing I've also done is I've moved Edmunds out here. This is to try and get him to play the inside a little bit more, and then I would kind of step out with my user over here. So, or my safety over here. So now you see he's kind of taking away that gap a little bit better. He's making sure that he's the one getting blocked by the fullback, and it just gives your user a little bit more clear assignment. And you can still run that way with the or the dive defense. It really doesn't make a difference. I've seen success both ways that I've ran it. But again, you kind of make sure that he's in this particular blitzing assignment. You can move him just about here for the inside. But again, Lewis, that time you see that's probably the best way you could get it to go, where you distract the fullback enough with that inside backer shooting free that he's actually going to take his attention away from the outside lane, and he's going to be forced to block inside. So I actually want to show you guys the replay, show you why that works so good. Well, that's weird, but snap the ball. You see Edmonds, he's going to distract him, which is good enough. He comes clean through the gap, certainly what you want. Again, what I mean by the perfect defense, if this guy can come down and play the run, it's easy tackles for loss every time against this formation. Maybe, but, or at least, sorry, that's the word I was looking for, but we're going to use the safety. We get to the outside, and that's an easy wrap-up tackle. Even if we're not there, Joe Hayden does get there, and you should be able to click on and make that play as long as you don't hit sick, which don't hit sick with corners or safeties unless they have high hit power. But yeah, we'll show that one again. Set him up. You can set him up around here, I think we had him, or just as far to the right, so he's in that particular blitzing angle. You see on the run fit, he shows up in that blitzing angle as well, which is what you want. And, well, oh, yeah, I thought I saw the free safety in the blitzing or the run fit, which is why I was confused, because earlier he wasn't. But again, the ball is snapped. This time he doesn't distract him. Of course, TJ Watt's going to do TJ Watt things on the edge, which is expected. He does have an ability that helps him, which I probably should have subbed him out. He has that no outsiders ability, which helps him. But again, he's not going to do that in game. You shouldn't expect anyone on your team to do that unless you pay for that ability. But even if he doesn't do that, we are in position. Hopefully he doesn't do that, which he does with the double team. But again, we still have a corner, we still have a safety, and we still have that linebacker going free. So we have 3 guys against a potential 1 or 2 guys, depending on if TJ Watt does not, draw the double team immediately. Again, I can move him out further, start inside a little bit with your safety, because you're not going to know, is it dive or stretch? And there you see again, same situation where the fullback takes the outside still, but we still have a corner, we still have a safety. So again, 1 blocker versus 3. So overall, this is definitely my favorite way to stop the run. Again, I can actually get here with the run fits. You see how he's going to kind of play in that gap as long as you move him to the right side of Stephon Tuitt. So that's definitely nice to know. And again, the only difference is that I'm not contained when I don't blitz these extra guys. So this is standard cover 4, but I'm just not contained in the run defense. It plays a little bit different. You see how Terrell Edmonds, he kind of waits a second, but if you're playing someone who's mixing up the run in the pass, this is kind of how you have to play them, because you can't risk blitzing everybody and then they just throw something simple. But you see, when the ball is snapped, he hesitates for just a split second, whereas if he's on a blitz, he goes immediately, waits, quarter of a second, and then he goes. Same as TJ Watt. TJ Watt, I believe, or TJ Watt just kind of goes right away, but because he's on zone, he doesn't take as hard of an angle with the contain. But you still see very good coverage. Terrell Edmonds actually gets through the gap perfectly there. We kind of run into the tight end, so that was a bad stick, but you can see how that works pretty solidly. Overall, that's going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.